The problem is we're still not reaching enough kids. And we're not reaching them in time, and that has to change. Research shows that one of the best investments we can make in a child's life is high-quality early education.
He's a stranger to some and a vision to none. He can never get enough, good enough for the one, for a fortune and quit, but it's hard to.
Alright, so we're sitting here with Evan Hills, who is a middle school education teaching major here at UC with a focus in math and science. He's currently a mentor teacher at J.K. Dulles Elementary, basically an intern at an elementary school within the Oak Hills district. Now, he teaches the 5th grade math. Ages about 10 to 11 years old. Ethnicity here at the school is about 95% Caucasian, 2 to 3% African American, and 2 to 3% Latino and Asian American.
Okay, all right. Well, the class schedules works out from 8:30 to 9 is when the students will show up. They go straight to the homeroom classroom, and then we spend about 15 minutes in the homeroom classrooms, and then we have 4 periods. So we have your math, your science, your social studies, and your language arts. And this, I think they're there for 45 to 55 minutes a day. What I was telling Craig earlier was there are 4 subjects, so the students are split up into 4 groups. There's about 32 students per class, and then these groups or classes are separated into what we call, they did away, so now we have one group's called the Navy, we have the Air Force, the Marines, and the Army, and then these are all 4 different levels of students. So I think, let's say the Navy will be like the highest achieving, and then they figured out all these results from the 4th grade assessments. So the highest achieving will be like the Air Force, the Army will be in between, the Navy will be in between, and the Marines will be like those students on IEPs and 504s, which IEPs, for you don't know, is Individual Education Plan, and 504s is just what teachers can do to help the needs of the students.
All basically, we'll say the honors kids together with the Navy, for example, and then you'll have all of the lower achieving kids all together in another class. Now, do you agree with that?
I don't know. I agree and disagree. It definitely has its strengths and weaknesses, so I don't know if you're looking for one exact answer. But when it comes to strengths, you can, like, with the honors kids, you said, or with the highest achieving kids, you can focus on them, and then even, like, you can focus on what they need and more, like, information that they could use to even go higher, to reach, like, they're here and they want to reach here, they can do that if possible because they don't have to worry about those students. But then the middle is kind of in between. Pretty much they're learning the same stuff, but then I kind of like how the IEPs and 504s are together because all the teachers' focus is on those students, where if you were to mix them with maybe the advanced class or whatever you call it, that student may get left out at times or feel left out because, like, their process of thinking or their academic knowledge is not the same as those who achieve higher on the test. Last semester I was at Aiken Tech, which is Cincinnati Public School, where Oak Hills is not. At Aiken Tech, it was, I would say, I think he even said 95% African American, I think there's probably like 2% white, and then the rest of the 3 was what he was saying, like either
Okay, so basically
Latin
from your
American.
5th grade class to your 7th grade class, your Caucasians and African
Yeah, it
Americans
was
have
a
flipped.
complete flip.
Okay, now as a Cincinnati public school, it tends to be on the lower income side.
Yeah.
Is that how this one
Yeah,
is
it
too?
was lower income, but it was kind of nice because GE sponsored a lot of them. Not a lot of the kids. They pretty much sponsored this school. They provided them with uniforms. So, being that they were low income, Aiken still had uniforms, and then it was Aiken Tech, so a technical school. They had all the laptops provided them from GE.
And that was paid for by
GE
big
sponsors.
corporations,
Yeah,
and
big
such like that.
corporation
So
in Cincinnati.
so their funding, I'm sure a lot of their funding comes from the city, but
Yeah.
a lot of big corporations are willing to help out and
Yeah.
donate those laptops
Yeah.
and the
Which was good to
materials they
see.
need and all that.
Uh-huh.
So okay.
Yeah. Came to like the 7th grade at Aiken. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like there was a lack of like confidence. They didn't have that confidence, these 5th graders.
Well,
I see today.
do you think that their main focus was away from school? Because I feel like they need to go back to, I need to take care of myself. I need to take care of the family.
Yeah.
Even though they're young, I mean, they still realize like I need to get food somehow. I need to make sure I'm sleeping somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many issues outside of the school where that might be their main focus, whether or not I need to take care of my little brother or sister tonight. We got to find somewhere to eat or live, rather than with these 5th graders. No, they have a safe, secure home, or majority of them do, and then they have the families or like the support they need.
So do you think academically, I mean, because I'm assuming academically they struggle more so than your 5th graders from the middle class area. So their academics are a lot,
At a
lot
lot
more
lower
restricted
level.
and at a lower level.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just to little cross refer here, so you would have a lot less Navy section people from the 7th grade class that you taught at the lower income section.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you definitely would have more students scoring lower on academic tests.
Okay. So the next section I'm going to ask you about is fighting and bullying. So I'm not sure how much you see within the classrooms. I mean, specifically with fighting and bullying, but outside of the classroom as well. Could you comment on both internal and external classroom procedures?
Yeah. It's kind of cool because at Dulles Elementary they have, I want to say like a motto. It's be respectful, be responsible, and be on time. Just be a good student in general is the motto. And every Friday they do the pledge, and then right after the pledge of allegiance they do their motto, and they do this on the announcements. So like the students are like they're kind of overwhelmed, not overwhelmed, but surrounded by all these like positive behaviors, or what is a positive behavior, and then how to respect your fellow peers. Within the classroom, I don't see much bullying going on. I mean, of course, in all schools, I do believe there is bullying, which is hard to say, but I think it's true. Whether it's between a boy and a girl, 2 boys, I don't see it as often in this school as I did last semester at Aiken Tech. But Aiken Tech and Dulles Elementary are completely different when it comes to the diversity as well. But it's fun. It's kind of cool, ironic as you bring this up, because last week there was an incident outside at recess where 2 kids were kind of like going back and forth, and one of them ended up spitting on the other kid. So I mean that's clearly a sign of bullying.
So how'd you take care of that? Did you end up sending them off to the principals? Or
Yeah.
I remember I got sent to the principals when I was like really young in 2nd grade, and that scarred me. I didn't do anything bad after that. So I mean, do you do the same thing?
Well, I personally didn't really right now I don't feel like I have the responsibility to discipline a kid. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I did bring it up, and the teachers there kind of saw what happened and kind of were able to bring the 2 kids together. They talked it out, and then called down the principal. So the principal was outside of recess. They split the 2 kids up. They talked to them one-on-one, and then they brought them back together, and the principal talked to them together. And they're like, all right, here's the problem. Here's what we need to do to fix it. They're like, why'd you do this? What's going on? And then it sounds like she got to him pretty well, because in the end of it, both of the kids were crying. Not necessarily saying like they learned, like that's a good thing, but I'm sure they learned their lesson.
Right, in
and
kind of
won't
a
ever do
way,
it
it's a
again.
good thing.
Yeah.
So what you guys do is you basically bring in a third party, being the principal,
Yeah.
and then you have everybody kind of talk and figure out the situation, and then from there you figure out the discipline modality.
Private versus public school debate is back and can cause anxiety in any parent, but which one provides the best education for your child? Our next guest has done his homework. He says that private schools don't produce top marks and that they are a waste of money.
But despite the research, there are some who argue that private is the only choice. So good morning to author David Gillespie and commentator Sarah Leonardi McGrath. David, first you found that private schools are no better for a child's education than public schools. So what do you base that on?
Well, the research, once you analyse the data on outcomes for private versus public in Australia, you find that there is no significant advantage to paying for it. It's kind of like, I guess, the best analogy is a flight to the UK. You can pay economy, you can pay business class, you can pay first class. It'll be a lot more comfortable along the way if you pay for business class or first class, but at the end of the day, everybody arrives in the same place at the same time.
Number one, early childhood education, I think, has got to be significantly expanded all across the country. Right now, we've got kids who are starting behind the first day they come to school. And in Chicago, when I visit first grades and kindergartens, you'll meet children who don't know colors, don't know letters, don't know the alphabet, are not accustomed to sitting still and being read to. And children aren't stupid. If they show up at school and start feeling that they're behind, over time, that leads them to push away from education because it's embarrassing to them. So we've got to do everything that we can to